Hi guys, and welcome to another Watch Geek video and another unboxing that I'm very excited about. This is actually the second model I got sent by the brand Cuervo y Sobrinos. They're a Swiss-based company that actually originated on Cuba, in Havana. They were a jewelry store at first that evolved into a watchmaker. They're more than 100 years old, but sadly during the 60s or I believe early 70s they got nationalized and kind of went bankrupt. But in the late 90s they got revived and they started expanding their lineup. I did the review of their Historiador Landeron, which was their recreation of their historical chronograph from the 50s, and I'll put the link somewhere here, that used the restored Landeron movements. But this model that they sent me, and it's called Prominente, it's their bread and butter model. So one of their basic models that comes in both quartz and mechanical versions. They do have some in-house movements, but this one is powered by a saw prod based movement that they kind of modify. And so this is like their entry level, or should I say main model for their collection. And I was absolutely in love with it when I saw the photos, so I asked them if they can send me one for a review as a loaner. And I'm really excited they did it. So let's open the box and see, or should I say the bag, and see how it looks. Now the Prominente has a very distinct design, as does every watch they make. They really do not copy anyone else. They have their own designs that are usually very flamboyant, but this model is a bit restrained, although it still has some flair of its own. Now I'm wearing my Reverso and I brought my SOOOO Laurel because I have a thing for rectangular watches, although this is more to no shape, but you get the picture. I find these two watches to be the most beautiful I own, and I really love them. Well, this Prominente is kind of that style of a watch. So let's open it and see how it looks in person. And here it is. Wow. Let's peel this off. Like I said, I have a soft spot for rectangular watches. The Cartier Tank, the Reverso, even this Laurel, they're really special to me. Well, this is another very original design or interpretation of a rectangular watch. There's some protective here. Okay, so let's zoom in and see how it looks. And look at it. Wow. I love this blue dial, and the watch is really striking in person. Now look at the case. It's rectangular, but it has this curvature that follows your wrist. It's just beautiful. And it's one of those watches that seems simple, but it's actually more complex than the images would suggest. Because you have these flanks that protrude outside, but they're not just straight like on a Cartier Tank, but they actually have a curvature of their own like this. So they go inwards in the middle, and then they go outwards at the edges, creating a very unique look. The sides are highly polished and the polishing is beautiful, while the tops of the main case are brushed. And look, even the sapphire crystal has a curvature. I mean, it follows the curvature of the case. It's just beautiful. It comes on a real alligator strap with a beautiful deploying buckle, just like the Historiador that I reviewed. So let's open it. It still has the protective film, but you can see perlage, everything is highly polished. And here you can see the movement, which is Sawprod M100 based, but decorated by Cuervo y Sobrinos. Like I said, they do have some of their in-house made movements, but this is their bread and butter. So this is the watch that kind of holds the whole brand together, and I really love it. Each of their watches has a very unique and distinct look. And this is one of the most classical of them all. Look at the finishing on the dial and these painted but almost applied markers. I just love it. The hands are rhodium plated. It has an applied logo at 12 o'clock, a date aperture at 6. Wow, it's just beautiful. A signed crown. Now I want to put it on my wrist because when it comes to the dimensions, officially this is like 32 by 43, which some might find small. But once you see it in person, it commands a big presence. So it's identical in dimensions to the SOOOO Laurel, but look if you put them side by side. What's even funnier is that this reverso is just 42 millimeters lug to lug, so just 1 millimeter shorter than this, or should I say half a millimeter on each side. But again, this seems much bigger. So let me just take off my reverso and put them side by side. Look at that. Can you believe that these watches are almost identical in length? This shows you how much the ratio of the case to the dial means for the watch. I mean, if I look at it like this, I have a feeling like this dial is the size of this whole reverso, although it's not. They're almost identical. Wow. Well, let's put it on my wrist and see how it looks. Okay, so here it is on my 6.7-inch wrist, and it really wears rather large for its size. I cannot believe that this is just 43 millimeters lug to lug. It looks like it's 47 or 50. Wow, that dial really makes it wear large, but I like it. It's much more in your face than a reverso, but it still has that style that I just adore, that case shape. I don't know why I love rectangular watches, but I just do. Wow, it's very, very beautiful. Now these retail between, I believe, $3,500 and $4,000, so they're really not cheap. But for that money, I mean, you get excellent craftsmanship, which I will show in the macro shots when I do the full review. You get a bit more exotic movement than the usual ETA powered 2824s and all that. With the SOOOO M100, you get a beautiful strap. Everything is finished to a very high degree. But most importantly, you get a very original and beautiful watch. I mean, sometimes you buy watches using your mind. You know, you love the heritage, the story, the brand. But sometimes you don't care about anything or the value. But sometimes you just fall in love with the looks of the watch. And I really love the way this thing looks. I can't wait to do the full review and see how this looks under macro. But I kind of think this is gonna be very, very impressive. Anyways, if you never heard of Cuervo y Sobrinos, make sure to check them out because they have some very, very wacky watches. But most of them are like too much for me. But this thing is just epic. And I really do love this curved sapphire. Incredible. Anyways, that's it when it comes to this unboxing and first impressions. Again, I started talking gibberish because I'm just obsessed and mesmerized by this watch. So do stay tuned for the full review. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.